Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan and it's time for my Game Week 29 team selection, a very special team selection video because it is the biggest double game week of the season and a game week where a few of us are thinking of using our bench boost, and I am included in that group of people. So guys, if you do enjoy this one, please do leave a like, please do subscribe if you're new around here. But first of all, a quick word from our sponsor. If you're looking for a recommendation in web safety and anonymity this game week, then how about today's video sponsor, Surfshark, a VPN service that keeps your identity safe online. It's basically like installing Keppa to your PC or mobile phone, but not only this, Surfshark allows you to browse the internet as if you were in a different country. If you don't have access to certain football channels and networks in your country, no problem, set your location to somewhere else using Surfshark and you can now access it. Maybe you want to watch Match of the Day or Sky Go from on vacation and it's not working, or you're getting that annoying "this content is unavailable in your country" message. Just because you're playing away doesn't mean your internet needs to be too. But here is my favourite feature. If you've watched all the best series on Netflix and want to unlock all of the content on USA Netflix, for example, you can easily do so. You can switch up your country faster than you can switch out those Arsenal players from your FPL team. Protect your identity, be safe online, and access web content from around the world wherever you are, and you can now get 83% off and 3 months extra for free. Just use promo code FPLMate, all one word, to get this offer, or you can simply click on the link in my description. It really helps support the channel and you get a great service for a heavily discounted price, and if you somehow don't like it, there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so everybody wins. Okay, so before we have a look at our Game Week 29 team, we're going to have a look at our Game Week 28 scores. And it was a bit of a disappointing game week in general. We knew it would be a smaller kind of scoring game week because not many teams were really playing. A lot of the big players not playing at all. And we had to rely a little bit on our defenders. And I was no different. We had a lot of defenders and not many clean sheets. In fact, clean sheets were very hard to find in Game Week 28. I don't know if you guys felt the same thing. Maybe if you owned a Aston Villa defender, maybe that's an exception. But aside from that, a lot of teams we expected to get clean sheets actually didn't at all. So really disappointing there. But hey, that's one of those things in FPL. In midfield, we had our Arsenal midfielders that did quite well, but unfortunately, I did not captain Saka. And I think that's going to be a big difference between the good scores and the not so good scores, is whether you captain Saka or not. Saying that, I did still manage to get a green arrow, even with the differential captain of Watkins. You know, in the end of the day, he kind of, you know, he scored similarly to Harry Kane anyway. So like, Kane was the main captain a lot of people went for. I think I probably would have gone for Saka if I didn't go for Watkins, even though I had Kane as kind of a vice-captain safety option. But I wanted to do something different. Do I regret doing that? I don't know. I don't really regret too much. I like trying to do something different to try and get a big score. I imagine that Watkins in a 3-0 win against Bournemouth, usually that would mean a Watkins haul, but it wasn't to happen. Not the end of the day, though, because we did get a okay, decent score in the end. Little green arrow, highest rank of the season so far. The rank is looking a lot more respectable than it did previously in the season. And with these massive double game weeks and blank game weeks coming up, I think there's still a lot of room to improve the rank. So that's what we're going to try and do today. And I'm going to show you my plan for Game Week 29 with the bench boost. Okay, one free transfer, 7.1 million in the bank. You guys know that I want to keep at least some of that money in the bank to upgrade Tony to Erling Haaland at some point. Even though it looks like Haaland is going to be injured for Game Week 29, I still am looking to get him in Game Week 30. Well, hopefully, if he's available anyway. So let's go through the team first of all, and then I'll show you what kind of transfer moves I'm thinking of with some different ideas and some different plans that might suit some different people. So first of all, in goal, we have got Kepa Arrizabalaga, 2 home games against Aston Villa and Liverpool. And although these aren't the greatest fixtures in the world, the fact that they're both at home and the fact that Chelsea have been one of the stronger defensives recently, with Kepa, a goalkeeper who makes a lot of saves as well, it is something I do quite like. So I do have a little bit of faith in Kepa. I think he can do okay for me this week. I think he's probably one of the best goalkeepers for the double game week as well. So all in all, quite happy with this pick in goal. Into defence, we've got Kieran Trippier. Manchester United and West Ham are his fixtures. Is there going to be an opportunity for a clean sheet against West Ham? Yes, probably. And against Manchester United, it's more difficult to say. But Newcastle have been a really, really difficult defence recently because they've not been keeping clean sheets. But their defensive record is technically quite good. They're kind of averaging 1 expected goals conceded per game. That puts them kind of top 2 or 3 in the table, depending on how far you go back looking at their numbers. The problem is with Newcastle is they're doing it on an average of 1 expected goals conceded per game and are conceding pretty much 1 goal per game as well, which means we don't really get clean sheet points. But in general, I still think that is a very positive sign that more clean sheets are coming. And over a double game week, there's 2 opportunities for a clean sheet, plus Trippier's excellent ability to be creative, get the bonus points when there are clean sheets, and actually get the odd assist as well, which we have seen recently as well as previously in the season. So yeah, overall, I do like Trippier. I think this could be a good score for him. Double the opportunities for clean sheets, double the opportunities for attacking returns as well on those set pieces. I think it could be pretty good. Ben Chilwell is up next, another player who's been playing super attacking as a wing back, which we really like. Chilwell's been doing really well, essentially playing as a left winger at the moment, and kind of really unlucky last game week to come away with 1 point, because no player for that Chelsea team in that entire game had more expected attacking returns. He was really, really good in that game. Creative, taking shots on, which is exactly why we bought him in the first place. So we're expecting big things from Chilwell, even though he couldn't keep the clean sheet last game week. I think, again, going into this double game week, 2 fixtures, good defence, good goalkeeper who makes lots of saves behind him. If you can get an attacking return and you fancy Chilwell against Aston Villa to get that attacking return, I think, you know, if we're expecting Aston Villa and Liverpool to be the kind of teams that will concede a goal against Chelsea, it looks like Chilwell could genuinely be the most likely player to get on the attacking score sheet, whether that's a goal or an assist. I actually fancy Chilwell a little bit more than the Kai Havertz, for example, to get some kind of attacking return. So let's see what happens there, but I'm really hoping for a clean sheet and an attacking return over the course of this double game week. Not necessarily one in both of these games, but, you know, one in, you know, across the 2 fixtures, get a clean sheet and attacking return, and I'd be pretty happy with that. Maybe the odd bonus point could be pretty nice as well. And we're going to finish off the defence with Botman, who is flagged at the moment. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. Keep an eye on those press conferences, but it doesn't seem like a very serious problem, really. So I think he's going to be absolutely fine to come back into this Newcastle team and start against Manchester United straight away. So another player, decent defence. Let's see what he can do. I mean, that West Ham game, that kind of looks like a real good opportunity for a clean sheet for Newcastle. I just hope that he doesn't make the individual mistake that he did last game week to concede that 1 goal that takes away those clean sheets, because that is so frustrating. Botman has been doing kind of okay in bonus points and kind of attacking returns a little bit as well recently. He's getting chances to score from those set pieces and stuff, which is not something we've seen all season. So I do think he is more than a 6-point man now. I think he's moved to like a 7.8 pointer man if he can play it very well, if he can get that clean sheet. So I think this could be pretty good with Botman. Be happy with 10 points or something like that from him over the double game week. Moving on into midfield, we've got Saka as things stands, a player who has a single game week, which is you know, disappointing. I'm sure we've all got loads of Arsenal players and we would love it if Arsenal have a double game week, but they don't. But they do have a single game week fixture against Leeds, which is pretty good. And I think Saka is going to be better than a lot of the double game week players, but not all of the double game week players. So we have to have a think about who we can sacrifice in order to get the players that we want. And for me, I think Saka is actually going to be a player that I might have to sacrifice in order to get a certain player that I really, really want, which we will cover very, very shortly. But overall, I think it's up to you guys. If you want to keep Saka, that's fine. I think one thing that makes me want to sell Saka is the lack of double game weeks. We can get other players who have multiple double game weeks in the midfield position. And the fact that Saka, after that Southampton game, his fixtures are just down the drain. They look really, really awful all the way until game week 37 and 38. So it's going to be a really bad run with the likes of Man City, Chelsea, Brighton, Newcastle, all in a row. Not very nice indeed. So, yeah, Liverpool away, West Ham away. These are not amazing fixtures either. And Southampton at home, although I do like that fixture, I'm going to be free hitting, sorry, in game week 32 anyway. So I can bring Saka back in for game week 32 only if I do sell him. And the same goes for other Arsenal players. So particularly if you are free hitting in game week 32, I actually think it's much easier to sell those Arsenal players and have them back for game week 32 and kind of miss out on a lot of these bad fixtures. It's just a case of how well those Arsenal guys do it against Leeds. Are they going to outscore some of the double game week players? I think that's very, very possible. But we need to take a little bit more of a long-term kind of view on this one, I think. Marcus Rashford up next. He's been training. I don't think this is going to be too much of an issue for him to come in and start very important games for Manchester United, of course. So those of you guys who are worried about Rashford, I would just say, I don't think you need to be too worried right now. Let's see what the press conferences say. We'll find out tomorrow if Rashford is going to be available or not. Fingers crossed, hopefully. But I think it is looking pretty positive right now because he is training. So not worried about that one. I think Rashford is very much still a captaincy option, a player who's been on absolute flames recently, on fire. And I think a few people have kind of forgotten that because he hasn't had that many Premier League games recently. But in other competitions, he's been doing well. In the Premier League games he has been playing, he's been doing well. So Rashford, I'm still all about about him, all about the Rashford hype. Mac Allister next, decent double game week for Brighton, really decent double game week. I really like this one, to be fair. Brentford at home and Bournemouth away. And Mac Allister has just been a beast recently. He's been taking so many shots. He's been the most advanced player for Brighton recently. And he's also constantly in the box and taking penalties as well. So double the game week, double the chance of penalties, which is something that I'm really, really hoping is going to come off for Mac Allister. I think he could be a really good one. And still a little bit of a differential as well. 7.1% ownership. It's not like everyone owns Mac Allister. A lot of people have like kind of gone off him. And I think he'd actually be one of my favourite players for the game week. I think he's got a really good chance of getting a really nice score in this game week. You know, Brighton right now are genuinely a really good team. They're kind of top 4 in terms of performances at the moment. I think they're going to have a really strong end to the season. And this is a double game week where they need to be picking up those points, get the 6 points in these games. And if they do, Mac Allister is probably got the highest chance of getting an attacking return alongside one more player who is Solly March. Solly March, I'm still a big fan of him, despite the fact he has trolled us a little bit recently, but still have a lot of confidence in him. And, you know, this double game week fixture, him coming in on the right-hand side, you know, in the box constantly, making those runs, super high up the pitch. He's just looking so good right now, March is. And I feel like a lot of people are talking about Kaoru Mitoma, and that's absolutely fine. He's doing well as well. But for me, March is just, you know, he's not as fashionable, but he is putting in some amazing performances. Like, he is a player reborn recently, isn't he? He's doing so well in the last 6, 7, 8 months. Absolutely amazing, and really looking forward to what he's going to produce in this double game week. Up front, we've got Harry Kane against Everton. Kane just such a reliable FPL asset right now on penalties, you know, scoring for fun, doing well. Just his consistency that is just so amazing. So I'm not looking at selling Harry Kane. I think he's a really good player to keep and own for this double game week. I think he will outperform a lot of the single game week, of the double game week players, even in a single game week. So I think that's absolutely fine. Tony, as long as he doesn't get a yellow card against Brighton, he is going to do very well for us as well. Brighton and Man United, they're not the best fixtures in the world, but Tony, again, another player who's just been in such good form, often with the attackers. If an attacker is in good form, they will score against anyone. Doesn't really matter what the fixture is, so we can absolutely back him. I'm not so keen on the Brentford defence, and I'm not massively keen on owning Brentford players long term, so we will be looking to shift some on. But for now, Tony, whilst he hasn't got his yellow card, whilst he hasn't got his suspension, I think we're good to keep him, and I think he'll do quite well. Ollie Watkins is the final player in the starting 11 for now. We've got Chelsea and Leicester. Chelsea, difficult fixture. Leicester, a much nicer fixture. But again, Watkins in such good form recently, attacking returns pretty much every single game for the last few months. He can hopefully continue that, and if he gets an attacking return every game, more, you know, that's 2 attacking returns in the 2 games. I think we'd be very, very pleased with that. And I like Watkins as well because he's got that nice fixture at home against Nottingham Forest the week after as well. So yeah, Watkins, very, very nice. On the bench, we've got Sanchez, who is a big, big problem for me because I do want to have a triple up on Brighton because I think Brighton have the best chances of scoring some decent FPL points this week. As a team, they've got the best pair of fixtures, and yet I've got this Sanchez player. He's not going to play in the double game week, we don't think. It's going to be Steele. Jason Steele is going to be starting for Brighton in goal. So it's really, really difficult. I mean, I feel like I just have to sell Sanchez. Henry, you know, he's got bad fixtures, let's be honest, but hey, let's see what happens there, I guess. But I'm not really too excited about Henry either. I think he's a player that could be sacrificed. And then we've got Martinelli, who's providing good value for money at the moment, but single game week. And we've got Zinchenko in an Arsenal team, decent fixture, but a team that is conceding goals recently. Arsenal are just not the perfect defence right now. They're better in attack, but they're not so good in defence. So a player I'm a little bit worried about. So in general, guys, this is what I'm dealing with right now. I've got 1 free transfer and a load of money in the bank. I want to bench boost this team. I think Henry, Martinelli and Zinchenko would be absolutely fine to bench boost, but I do need to make a change with Sanchez. And I also want to get some more double game week players, and I'm happy to take a hit to do that as long as it benefits my team in the long run. So let me show you a couple of different plans that I think would work really, really well for my team and potentially some of your teams as well. Okay, so first of all, very quickly, guys, I do want to show you the calendar for game week 29 to 38. So we could just have a look ahead at what kind of players work, not just now, but also in the future. And the big key double game weeks are beyond game week 29 are game week 34, where we see Brighton, Fulham, Liverpool, City, Manchester United, and West Ham double. So maybe try and get some players from those teams. In particular, we've got Brighton doubling now and later, and we've got Man United doubling now and later. So I do think those Manchester United players are going to be really key key. Even more so because if you look to game week 36, it's very, very likely to be another double game week for Brighton. And in 37, we've got another really, really likely double game week for both Brighton and Manchester United. So we're going to see an additional 2 double game weeks from both Brighton and Manchester United, as well as them doubling right now. And they're the only 2 teams that have that kind of opportunity where they have doubles now and loads of doubles later as well. So we want these players, we want to triple up on both of these teams for the long term. And it's just about how we're going to do that, really. Quick shout out to Newcastle as well. Likely double in 36. That's going to be against Leeds and Brighton, which is not too bad really at all. So how are we going to do this? Well, I've got 3 options that I can go with, and then I'm going to tell you which one is my favourite. Right, so option 1 includes moving Sanchez to De Gea, Saka to Fernandes, and Zinchenko to Estupiñán. So we sacrificed 2 single game week players from Arsenal with the plan to bring them back in a free hit in game week 32, and then, you know, they go back out again, and we'll have then 3 Brighton, 3 Manchester United, and there will be good Brighton and Manchester United players as well. Unfortunately, it means that I won't have Luke Shaw, which is kind of a bit annoying. It would take them a -8 to do this, which is absolutely fine because I feel like these transfers will pay off for the long term just by the fact that they have so many fixtures. We get that good triple up from each of those teams, and I'd be pretty happy with that one as well. It would involve playing Rico Henry, which I don't love. You know, I definitely can think that you could consider selling those Brentford defenders if you really wanted to, and it would give us not only a decent 13 out of 15 double game week players for game week 29, but it would also give us 6 in 34, 5 in 36, and 6 in 37, and that is, when I say that, I mean it will give those players to us right now. I can make more transfers by the time we get to 34, 36, 37 to get even more double game week players as well. Erling Haaland in particular in 30 will bring us up to 7 in 34, 7 in 37 as well. The difficulty here is that I will have both Kepa and De Gea for game week 37, which means even though technically I'll have 7 double game week players, I can only play 6 of them. So that is a consideration. That is something to think about, and we will explore how we can maybe deal with that in some other strategies. Option 2, I'm not going to lie to you, I don't like this one as much. A lot of people have asked me, what do you prefer, Steele and Shaw or De Gea and Estupiñán? I will tell you that I do prefer De Gea and Estupiñán. I think De Gea is a better goalkeeping option than Steele, and I think that Estupiñán is genuinely a better defensive option than Shaw right now. Shaw, you know, he's going to have to do a bit more defensive duties right now with the players who are kind of currently out at Manchester United. That's not to say he's a bad pick. I think Shaw is still a really good pick, but I think I would prefer to go for Estupiñán right now. Maybe that's just personal preference, but again, I don't like this option as much as option 1, but I wanted to show it to you anyway. It does the exact same thing as the option 1 strategy, but we just switch around which Manchester United defender we're going for and which Manchester United goalkeeper we're going for Brighton goalkeeper and Brighton defender. You just switch that around, and it's still 2 very obvious picks there. 2 really good picks. Another thing I don't like about Steele as much is he doesn't get bonus points, and he also, I feel like at some point Robert Sanchez is going to come back in to that Brighton team. I think that's always going to be a risk until the end of the season, which is another reason I'm not so keen on option 2. But in many ways, I think for the short term, maybe this could be better. You know, I like Steele a lot for the double game week. I think there could be 2 clean sheets there. I do like Shaw a lot for this double game week as well. So I don't know. I feel like I do prefer the other strategy, option 1, but I do think this is definitely still an option for those of you who are not concerned about Steele's minutes long term and you really want to get Luke Shaw instead of Purvis Estupiñán. I think that's absolutely fine as well. Again, it will involve playing Henry, and we'd have the same kind of situation in game week 37, where we will have 7 double game week players, but we can only play 6 of them because 2 of them are goalkeepers, Kepa and Steele in this instance, which we can solve with one more option that I really like. Okay, I know a lot of people are going to absolutely hate this strategy because it does involve taking a -12. Yeah, I get it. -12 is uncomfortable sometimes, but it can pay off, particularly if you are looking to bench boost, and particularly if it's something that benefits you in the long term, and it certainly would, and I'm going to explain to you why. So first of all, this moves would involve Sanchez to Pope, assuming Pope is fit, which I do need to keep an eye on before rushing to make this move. Saka to Fernandes, standard. Good move, a move that I definitely want to make. Zinchenko to Shaw and Henry to Estupiñán. So we get Shaw and Estupiñán, and we get Nick Pope as our goalkeeper instead. We need to make a goalkeeper transfer for the bench boost. maybe go for Nick Pope if he is available. But what this does is actually give us an additional 2 double game week players in that final period of the season. So we'd have 6 in 34, as usual. We would now have 6 in 36 instead of 5, so because we've got Pope, who is going to double in 36. And we will now have 7 double game week players for game week 37 because we've only got 1 double game week goalkeeper, who is Kepa, and all of the other double game week players from Manchester United and Brighton are outfield players, so I can play them all. So that is looking really, really nice there. And I could even, you know, add, you know, the likes of Erling Haaland. We maybe we have the likes of Chilwell as well, which you know, I haven't even mentioned today. I don't know if I'll have him by game week 37, to be fair, which is why I haven't included him in the numbers. But that's going to give us 9 double game week players for game week 37, which is quite significant, really. It's really significant if I keep Chilwell, that is. But again, we'll come to that later. But yeah, I think this looks really nice in general. I think this gives us a really good opportunity to get points later down the line. Yes, I'm taking an additional -4, but by virtue of my 2 additional double game week players just playing a game, you would expect they get a minimum of 2 points each anyway in those games. So does this move pay for itself? Is this a move that plans really, really well for the future? I think it genuinely could do. So guys, for the benefit of this video, we are going to go for option 3. So the moves are on screen right now and the prices that I'm selling and buying at as well. And yeah, hopefully that is going to look good. It still leaves enough money for me to upgrade Tony to Erling Haaland in the following game week as well, which is very, very nice. But yeah, let me know, which option do you prefer out of option 1, 2, and 3? Which one do you like the most? I think I'm feeling a really aggressive move and take that -12 to set my bench boost team up beautifully. Because, I mean, look at this, guys. This bench boost team is absolutely amazing. This looks so good. It's pretty much, I mean, it's not the perfect double game week bench boost, but it's pretty close to that, right? You know, you can't do too much better than this. And yes, we've taken a big old hit to get here, but it's a hit that should pay off in the long term. I think a bench boost this strong will easily outscore, you know, my -12. I think a bench like this probably scores 25 points, which is would be considered a real nice success. Which leaves one final question, guys, and that is, who are we going to be captaining for game week 29? And right now, my answer is Solly March. I'm feeling the Solly March captaincy, fresh with no international break fixtures, performing really well, creating loads for his team on some set pieces there as well, on corners, for example. And I just think he is just, he's just looking so good at the moment. I'm ready to go in for round 2, I think. Vice captain is on Rashford. Maybe Rashford is the better captain option. I guess we'll find out what his fitness situation is like, but I'm feeling round 2 on March. I'm ready to go. I'm so ready to go, and it's an exciting thing. It's a fun kind of captaincy pick, and that's what I'm trying to do at the end of the season. The rank isn't the best it's ever been. I can afford to have a little bit more fun with it and play FPL in a way that I enjoy rather than playing with fear, which is not something that is very fun, I guess. I can tell you last season, the rank was amazing, but I was playing with so much fear and so much pressure, and it's so nice to be able to have some fun with FPL, and hopefully some of you guys are able to do the exact same thing as well. So there you go, guys. That will be my Game Week 29 bench boost team. I think it looks phenomenal, really nice, and I'm so excited to see what kind of score I'll get. Feel like we could, excluding the minus points, of course, I think we could genuinely get to 130, 140 points with this team. It's so possible to do. I guess it's going to depend a lot on how well the captain does, how well the bench players do as well. But I think if we set our bench up exactly like this, I think, but based on points prediction, these would be my 4 lowest scoring players that are currently on the bench right now. But yet still, they look like players who could score really well. I mean, Pope and Shaw on the bench, like, that alone is just so nice, isn't it? And I think this kind of team gives me a lot of options going forward to have Shaw next game week against Everton, for example, and against Nottingham Forest, which would be really nice. And I can still play Kepa against Wolves. Yeah, in general, I just think this looks good and it covers me well. It's a team that I want to have. And even though it's taken a -12 to get there, I like it. And there we have it, guys. That is the end of the video. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind leaving a like, that would be really appreciated. I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited to get stuck back into FPL, and hopefully we've kind of answered a few questions this week with the videos. Subscribe if you're new around here. We've got one more video to come, which is going to be a true and proper in-depth bench boost guide. And I know a lot of you guys have a lot of bench boost questions, and we're going to hopefully answer all of them in one video, which will be coming out tomorrow on Friday. So keep an eye out for that one as well. But aside from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later, mates. Bye-bye.